The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Adiana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up bright and early with us on this Thursday morning. Jack, how are you feeling today? It's Friday Eve.
I feel good. My calf's a little sore.
Ooh, from all the walking?
No, from all the ice skating. It's been a while.
Okay.
And I was just like, this takes a lot of work, a lot more work than I remember. So, but it was a good time.
Well, that is good. I actually had a cramp last night. You know, when you wake up and you have a cramp in your leg and it just like...
Oh, those are the worst.
Just
know, your toes are like doing its own thing.
My toes weren't doing its own thing, but my calf itself was just like, super tight. And, you know, you just wake up and you're like, do I move? How do I get rid of this feeling? And so that lasted for a couple of seconds, but it felt like minutes.
A century.
It felt like forever. And so I was like, yeah. So I still kind of feel it. So when you mentioned your calves were hurting from the ice skating, I was like, yeah, my calf hurt, but it's not because of ice skating. I see we have Sean Smith in here with us. Good morning to you, Sean Smith, and everyone. Good morning to you as you're joining. As you can see, Jackie and I are definitely ready to bring you some feel-good vibes this morning. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and share today's episode with your circle, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Go ahead and share the conversation because Jackie and I are going to be talking about holiday music classics today. That is our feel-good topic. Last week, we talked about holiday movie classics. So we're going to be having another conversation about holiday classics. If you want to participate in that conversation, make sure you stick around for that in the show. And then later on, I'm going to be testing your knowledge against Jackie during our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is trivia time with Terri. It is on brand for holidays, so get your holiday caps. Holiday thinking caps on, and make sure you stick around for that later on in today's show. To get you warmed up for today's show, that we're going to be discussing the efforts that Venus Williams actually has recently done. She's giving away free online therapy through a joint venture with BetterHelp, which is a company in the U.S. And so because, Jackie and I not only love to talk about mental health and wellness, Jackie loves tennis. And so I thought this would be a great conversation for us to have this morning. And so we want to ask you, what can we do to continue to destigmatize the conversations around mental wellness? So as you're joining us, go ahead and let us know in the comments your thoughts on this topic. Jack, this is a big thing for a big tennis star like Venus to take on. So how do you feel about what we can do?
I always looked at destigmatizing something the same way how you would desensitize somebody, because it's the same thing. It's a sensitive subject. So the way social media has always done it, or media period has always done it, it continuously brings the conversation up, puts it in your face, so you have no choice but to discuss it. A lot of people don't even realize that they're dealing with mental health. Some people don't even know that they're depressed until you put those signs in front of them. They're like, oh wait, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
They think that it looks like the person that's walking down the street that's having an outburst, or they only see it in that friend that actually suffers from mental health, where they can't get out of bed. But it's also sometimes avoiding everything that you're dealing with. So waking up, putting a smile on, and pretending is the key takeaway there. You're pretending that you're okay and you're not.
Yep. So, audience, as you're joining us, you can see the question of the morning on the bottom of the screen. What can we do to continue to destigmatize conversations about mental wellness? And so, even to your point, Jack, you know how last week we talked about Nick Cannon and how he shared his story around losing his son? Like, that's a grief process that one has to go through. But then, just anything related to that can kind of trigger a mental illness or can trigger some, emotions that can steer someone to the left or to the right. And if he doesn't feel comfortable or in a safe space to talk about it, it could fester inside, like you mentioned, and pretend that everything's okay because we're so used to celebrities always being on and always being put together and always happy. And they don't go through bad things like the rest of us, even though they're human just like the rest of us. So I think also creating safe spaces for people to just feel comfortable to share their story and not be judged for feeling a certain type of way is another thing that we can do.
But it's also to bring in those people into the conversation when it comes to creating a safe space, because we're creating a safe space for them, not always necessarily us. And we want to make sure that they're a part of the equation when it comes to that, because what is a safe space to us? A place for us to let our guard down doesn't always look the same to the next person. So we have to make sure that they know. Some people, you think that a safe space would be their mother, but you don't even know that their mother has been traumatizing them all their lives behind closed doors. So you have to make sure that you bring them into the field so that they're actually in a safe space, not coming in and shutting down even more.
Absolutely. And also having professionals in the space that can actually help to share, their education and like what are some warning signs. Because when we had Dr. Adrian on, and she had mentioned some of the things that you can kind of do to kind of check in with yourself and do your own self-care check-in, mental wellness check-in. Some of the things that she was mentioning, I know you and I had moments where we were like, hey, that sounds like us, or that sounds like something that I should be doing or something I'm not doing. And this might be why I'm feeling more stressed or, I'm feeling okay. And it's just, getting more of those people into the conversation and putting them out there and their message out there, because when you don't see professionals in the space that look like you, one, or that are, communicating in a way that you understand, you might choose to continue, on the path of, I don't want to deal with this mental illness that I have because, it's easier for me to pretend, like you said, than it is for me to deal with my issues.
Right.
I want to bring in this comment from Karen Simmons. She says, trauma can trigger mental illness, so focusing on mental wellness, safe spaces, mindfulness, self-care. Not sure if I'm explaining it the way I want. I think that's actually good, and just coming into the self-care conversation, right? Because we talk a lot about mental wellness, one, and then we do kind of sidebar to self-care often, maybe not as much as we would like to. But I do feel like self-care is really important to focus on.
Absolutely.
And it does get kind of like, it does get like the lower priority on the list, particularly for Black women. I don't know about other race of women and how they kind of prioritize their self-care, but I know for Black women, from the women that I've spoken to, it's like the very last thing that you think about.
And talking about self-care, especially when it comes to women, I was looking on Twitter yesterday and I saw a few people that were dealing with menstrual cramps, right? And instead of them taking a personal day, they still went to work and worked through.
Powered through it.
And powered through. And that's actually like trauma reaction, where you don't want people to look down on you. And that can trigger everything else as well. All the pressures of trying to always be healthy.
Yeah, or women just trying to, compete with men because they don't have this biological factor, we'll call it. And because they don't have this once a month, they can continue to perform at a level that, they've been able to perform at or even greater. Whereas women, for at least a week of the month, your just energy is lower. You're not really feeling your best, and overcoming that physically, one, and then the psychological pressure of trying to compete at the same level as a colleague who may be a male who doesn't have to deal with this, as just another level of
it's a lot of pressure to go into work and then still put a smile on your face when basically your uterus is falling out. I know, because I've experienced it. I got horrible cramps and I still have to power through. but I work for myself. So
So you can, I mean, you're your boss. So you can just say to yourself, okay, self, take the time off. Whereas
right.
other people, that might be an uncomfortable conversation. And then that even kind of comes back to the whole mental wellness and mental health part of the conversation. Because if you don't even feel confident to speak to your boss or someone that, you work with about
Yeah.
needing to take some time off for your mental wellness, that can also be triggering and then just lead to
Depression.
and even
Because
just,
you
it can be
feel boxed in, like you have nowhere else to go except for just continuing on your routine.
Exactly. And so if you're just joining us, the bottom of the screen is the question that we're discussing or we're answering. Jacky and I are sharing our thoughts on how we can continue to destigmatize the energy and the conversations around mental wellness. And we definitely want to encourage you to let us know in the comments your thoughts. We will be sharing the article where we found this. This is actually sparked by the efforts of Venus Williams, who has partnered with Better Health to offer free online therapy. And if you know someone that might be able to benefit from it, we'll definitely share that link with you so that you can share that link with them. And I want to come to this comment by Karen Simmons before we take our commercial break, Jack.
This also happens with women in my age bracket who are going through menopause, who make light of their physiological and psychological effects that can take place daily, just pushing through. There's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional surges that come with this because you're going through so many chemicals being pushed through your body or removed from your body. There's just a lot happening. And to still power through when you're having, like me on a regular day feeling hot, my temperament changes.
Yep.
I'm a little bit more irritable when you're uncomfortable, just discomfort. Your tolerance and patience is low, and then you have to push that to the back and bear through it and be happy and pretend like nothing's happening. People do that on a daily basis, and it's not fair because we're all going through stuff that we should be able to say, today I am cramping. I don't even know how I'm standing right now. My tolerance is going to be low, which is how I usually talk to my sisters.
Well, that definitely helps.
Honestly, not today. I don't know how I'm going to react. So if you have bad news, keep it until tomorrow, because right now I'm just trying to breathe. I am doing my breathing exercises and I'm just making it.
And so speaking of that day, taking a day off. So Sean Smith says, I used to tell my bosses that I'm taking a mental health day if I felt stressed, which it's interesting because as a male, Sean, you probably felt a little bit more comfortable to do that because women
I was going to ask, because that brings up the question, how do you do it without feeling guilty? Because the average person feels guilty when they're asking for time off because everybody else could be dealing with something and they're pushing through. But how do you go about saying, I need a mental health day without feeling guilty? Because you have that anxiety that comes across because you feel, well, me, speaking for myself, I feel selfish taking a day off when obviously, other people are having moments.
Might be going through something similar or air
Or
quotes
the people
worse.
that you would work with that day need you. Like if you're a teacher, you know that your kids need you that day, but you need you that day. So you're going to make sure that you refill your cup or put your life mask on first before you take care of everybody else.
Exactly. And then he goes on to say, I agree with Jacky. We definitely need to have these conversations. And that's why we're here, right? Jacky and I, I think Jacky and I stand the mental wellness conversation like hard. Like we share stuff with each other and we're just like, these guys are going to think we're like a mental wellness show because all we talk about is mental wellness. Because to continue to destigmatize the conversations, we have to have them. And even if we're just, asking, how do you deal with things? What do you think we can do? The more we talk about it, the more comfortable people will be to have the conversation, even if it's in their own circles. Maybe they don't join the conversation online because they don't want to put themselves out there in that way.
Take these questions to your chat groups, even if it does, you don't even if you don't post the video or a link in there, at least have these conversations, because somebody out there might be like, oh my God, I've been waiting for somebody else to bring this conversation up because I have so much to say, but I didn't want to be the person that started it.
Yeah. No, but still put the video link in your group chats and then put the question in there. And then like, hey, this is the reference, guys, to the question that I'm about to ask.
Absolutely.
Jacky and I are going to take our first commercial break and then we'll be back with our focus topic of the day. Today, we're talking about holiday music classics. And we actually found some resources say what the top 3 songs and albums are for the holidays. So you stick around, make sure you stay to watch Jack and I, because we're going to be sharing all of that with you shortly.
Looking for that fine dining experience? Then Aliana's is the place for you. And it's lobster season in Bermuda. So ladies, get your girls together for a ladies' night out. Book a table of 4 and each of you will get a 10% discount on your half or whole lobster main course. Starters not included. This lobster special is on until Saturday, December 18th. Serving dinner from 6 p.m. Thursday through Sundays. And of course, we have all your favorites, complemented with our specialty drinks and wine list, followed by our scrumptious homemade desserts. Aliana's Fine Dining Restaurant, 106 Southside St. David's. Phone 777-0555 for reservations. For those special occasions, there's Aliana's.
Welcome back to this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just joining us, we're transitioning to our feel-good topic of the day. We are talking about holiday music classics. So last week we talked about our favorite movies, and I actually have a funny to share with y'all about the movies before we do the question today. So last night we did a department luncheon and there was Christmas trivia on there, and there was a question about Home Alone. And for the life of me, I could not remember where the family went on vacation in the first movie. Like, I knew where he went on the second movie, but I could not figure out where the family went on vacation for Home Alone. And it was bugging me. And like my coworker was like, how could you forget it? How could you not know? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember. And so
Where did they go?
Paris, France. And
Yes.
I completely blanked on that. I'm like, New York? Because I remember him.
No, he was, yeah.
Yeah. So these questions and these answers that we discuss might help you out in a company lunching or dinner when they do random trivia and they ask you questions about things that you're like, what? Like, I didn't pay attention to that. So without further ado, let's talk about what are your top holiday songs. So we went over to Global Grind and they had a 2020 list of the top holiday songs. And so we're going to count down the top 3 that they shared, but then we also want to find out from you guys, what are your favorite holiday songs? So let us know in the comments your top holiday song, whichever one that is, and we'll share the number 3 with you. Was 8 Days of Christmas by Destiny's Child. Jack, have you ever heard the Destiny's Child Christmas album?
Yeah.
Okay, you have.
On the first day of Christmas by True. Yeah, I've heard it.
Perfect. So I personally found it interesting that they made it this high up on the list because there's so many Christmas songs that people.
Did Bonquisha make it?
Girl, no.
Oh.
Girl, no.
I like a little Bonquisha.
She absolutely
the cranberry sauce.
Sis did not make it, but Destiny's Child did make it. And I actually do like their holiday album because it is more of I guess it's a newer twist to some of your favorite holiday classics. And if you do enjoy, Christmas music, but you want it to be a little bit more upbeat, or you want it to be something that you can kind of jam to, I definitely appreciated Destiny's Child for giving us that album, because none of them had done a Christmas album since, but I guess you only really need to do one.
Yeah.
I guess that's fine.
I mean, you can add, I don't know. I remember being at Music World and you just re-bought the old ones.
Oh, like, right. Yeah. You just,
we just brought those in. So we just restocked those and called it a day.
Right, because the classics, and we're going to get into the album shortly too. So I want to come to this comment from Sherry Vanderpoo. She says, This Christmas by Chris Brown is her top holiday song. He did a music video for that, right?
He had a movie called This Christmas and he sang it.
Yes, that's what it was. I was like, I know there was a visual to it. I absolutely do love Chris Brown's holiday music. Those were good times. A simpler time with Chris.
I just always love Chris Brown's music, especially when it comes with a video, because his dancing skills are just so effortless.
Yeah, show. You've been practicing? Show us if you've been practicing.
It's gotten worse, guys.
If there's one,
get worse.
It's supposed to get better. You need to call Muggsy. We need to call Muggsy again and get him to to get him to give you some one-on-ones because I don't know, sis. I just don't know. Audience, as you're joining the conversation, go ahead and let us know below in the comments what is your top holiday song. And so this next one by Sherry Vanderpool is actually the top two. So this is number 2 on the Global Grind 2020 top holiday songs. Let It Snow by Boyz II Men and Brian McKnight was number 2. So shout
I
out
don't
to
remember
Sherry.
how that goes.
Oh, I don't. You're not gonna get me to sing it, but
Darn, I was actually trying. I thought it was gonna work.
you're not gonna get me to sing it because it's one of this. It's one of those songs where it's like if you don't know it right, like if you can't sing it right, you're just gonna butcher it, and you're just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'm not gonna do it to the audience. But I do remember the music video. You know, obviously there's all the snow, and they had like the big old winter coats on, and they
I want Sherry to sing it for me on
the Daily
the
Hour.
Daily Hour.
Sherry, you have now
I hope she's
been
still listening.
called out. You have now been called out.
Yes.
And so she goes on to say that anything Mariah Carey Christmas or any Mariah Carey Christmas
There's
anything.
only one main Christmas song from Mariah Carey.
Which one is that?
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you would ever know. Make my wish come true. Oh, baby, all I want for Christmas is you. And it jumps right in. I don't want.
No flex though. When like the build up to that drop is like long.
It is,
but oh my gosh, when it drops, you're just like, yes, Mariah, hit it, girl. Yes, I've been waiting for this.
It's so fun. I want to get my jingle bells out.
Oh my gosh, I do love Mariah Carey when it comes to like I feel like she does great music. Like she figured out what her formula is, and so she has over time been able to create some really great songs, some really great classics. But her Christmas series, whatever you want to call it, like that particular brand for her is on point. Like she nailed it, absolutely nailed it. So Sherry says she's not singing after you, Jack, and after that little interlude. But I mean, Sherry, you gotta help us figure out what the song is because Jackie and I are just not. I can't place it. I do obviously when we was doing the research and I saw the video like photo, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this song, but I couldn't remember the tune. I couldn't get the rhythm.
I don't know. I want to know. I can't remember their version.
Oh, the Boyz II Men and Brian McKnight. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like the original,
because they harmonize and stuff.
Oh my god, the way. See, boy bands ain't boy banding like they used to, man. They just.
That's why I miss Motown, Jackson 5, like all those people. Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah, the Elements.
The Elements. That's Sherry calls them.
Sherry calls. I was like, oh, that's another group, the Elements. Ooh, I mean, so damn.
As soon as she said that, I was just like, couldn't even catch her.
No, sis.
I know it's gonna click, and then it clicked. I'm like, there we go. That's my girl.
Jackie did lose a little bit of faith in me in that episode. She's like, I'm gonna just let her continue on her path.
She's gonna come back. It's a roundabout. She's coming back.
She missed her turn. She missed her turn off the exit. So Karen Simmons has some love for us. She says the instrumental and sound effects. Love it, ladies.
You don't know how to not have sound effects. You gotta actually see us in person. It's worse, guys.
It is. It's not worse. It's better.
It's better.
It definitely gets better. It gets better with time, folks. We get better with time. Jason Shirley says DMX, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know, rappers doing Christmas music is actually a vibe. Like I
love
feel
Snoop Dogg's Christmas one. I think he actually did a song with Mariah too. I was listening to his one the other day. I don't know. I just like Snoop Dogg. It's just so zen.
No, I feel like back in the day, early Snoop Dogg, He was
I
giving
feel
us
like
straight
he'd still
gangster.
slap somebody, but at the same time, he'll be like, "No, didn't I tell you to calm down and check your energy?
He would explain the slap.
Now go sit in the corner and chill out. Just chill out."
So we have some love for you, Jack. Deb Leah
thank
says
you.
Jackie can really sing. She absolutely can. We try to keep that under wraps. We tried not to do a sing with Jackie segment because Jackie would basically tell me, "No, Terry, that's not happening." And so whenever she feels inspired to do so,
you can't put me on the spot because then it's weird.
Exactly. And she gets all anxious and then she's like, I can't do it.
That's not
So Sherry, it looks like the audience would like to see you sing as well during TDH. So you're being called up by Jackie and I on the show, and now the audience are getting involved. We love when the audience gets involved with us in these kinds of requests. So Sherry, no pressure, but pressure.
Just make sure you Google the lyrics.
Because don't be humming like Jackie and I. That's Jackie and I's brand.
Yeah.
Make up our ear words. Like, that's not what the song says.
It's an instrumental.
It's a remix.
This is the instrument.
It's a remix. So look, Sherry's feeling a little bit. She's feeling the pressure. It's okay, Sherry. You know, there's still Friday.
She's like, that's how I usually am. Like, oh,
these guys.
The stress, the pressure.
So go ahead and continue to let us know what your top holiday song is. We're actually going to give you the number one song that Global Grind said for 2020 is the top holiday song. Actually, before we give you the answer, let us know what you think the answer is. And I don't know if anyone's going to guess it because this is actually a song I can't say I've never heard it. I just didn't know the name of the song and the artist that sang it. So I want to give the audience a chance to let us know what they think the number one holiday song is by Global Grind in 2020. I'll give you a hint. The artist's name is Alexander O'Neal. And that's the only hint I'm giving you.
Silent Night.
Say who?
Silent Night.
Okay, Jackie thinks it's Silent Night by Alexander O'Neal.
I don't even know who do I know who Alexander O'Neal is?
I don't know who Alexander O'Neal is, sister. When you said Silent Night, I was like, well, Jackie must know something that I don't know.
Time to Google.
No, you don't have time to Google. You can't Google on this show. The audience can Google,
who
but
that person is.
I don't. Let me see. No, you're gonna have to figure that out offline. But audience, let us know what you think the top holiday song is. And granted, there is a lot of holiday music, and I think one of the kind of things we take for granted is that we hear some of the same songs over and over and over. So we have obviously a context and a frame for what we think the top holiday music is, or like, you know, our top holiday songs. But the genre is actually pretty big. It's not just Mariah Carey, Brian McKnight, Boyz II Men, Snoop Dogg,
Jackson 5.
It's a big space.
That's still my favorite little group there. I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night. I can't remember. Da, 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 da. We just talked about da, 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 da.
Oh, and something about daddy.
Oh, I saw mommy.
I think we come back in because we did that lyric and we come in strong too.
See, I should have Googled the lyrics.
No, that's our brand. That's not our brand. We like to make things up. So Sherry thinks it's a holy night, and Karen Simmons says, "My gift to you." And Karen, you are absolutely right. Apparently, "My Gift to You" by Alexander O'Neal was the top holiday song in 2020 by Global Grind. I have never heard it. And so after the show,
I'm not even Christmassy if I don't know.
This is what I'm saying. We obviously need to expand our Christmas repertoire because I just feel like I just don't have all of the genre in one package. I feel like I am very narrow-minded when it comes to my Christmas music, and I need to do better. I'm just saying.
I'm really trying to think what this song is. I'm thinking back to primary school where we sang all the Christmas songs.
This is probably older than us.
The Christmas tree have a Christmas. What lyrics were you
Party
singing?
rock, something like that. I think. I don't know.
Mistletoe hung where you can see everybody likes to rock. I'm really messing up these lyrics. I'm pretty sure those aren't the lyrics.
It's probably not, but we was rocking with it. It was fine. I loved it. They didn't know. No one called us out. We're fine. We're fine. We keep going. They didn't know.
My gift to you.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna. So obviously, after the show, I don't know, Karen, if you know specifically, some part of the lyric or what time that particular song came out. But because honestly, so when we did the list, I kind of wanted to have like just a complete blank slate for some of these songs to kind of see, oh, do I remember this? Do I not remember this? And obviously, the first two I do know because Destiny's Child grew up on that music. Boyz II Men, Brian McKnight, same deal. But the Alexander O'Neal, I was really surprised because it was just not a song that I could easily kind of pick and say, oh yeah, I know that song. And so that was really interesting to kind of find that particular piece of information out. Now we want to switch gears because we talked about singles, but let's talk about albums. Like, what is your top holiday album where you listen to from start to finish and you just, that's the theme music, the soundtrack for your holiday season? Let us know in the comments what your top holiday album is. What's the one that you listen back to back? And apparently this song is not that old. My Get to You may have came out in 2012, excuse me.
10 years ago? Well, 9, because it would have been a Christmas album. So
that is so wild. Like, Jack and I need to do better. I'm going to figure that out. We're definitely going to listen to it. And so Anika the Shield says Nat King Cole. I'm assuming that's your favorite holiday album or favorite holiday artist, because I do know that's an artist. Do you have a favorite album that you listen to, Jack? Like straight through? You listen to?
I think it was it Luther Vandross that had a Christmas album? His is, I don't know, I love his voice. And then I used to listen to, was it The Temptations? Their Christmas, it's one of those,
not the Jackson 5
men groups from back in the day.
Not the Jackson 5.
Well, Jackson 5 as well, but I don't know.
So Shoshana Williams says Pentatonic's Christmas album. Isn't that like that? They're like a instrumental type group where they do a bunch of they do really wicked stuff. But I feel like that's, I don't know, I could be making this all up. Shoshana probably like, no, Teresa, that's not it. Stop it. But that name, because the name is like very particular. So I feel like that's the group. It's like 5 of them, I think I want to say, or 6. And this big group is like a mega group. So let me know, Shoshana, if I'm on the right track, because Lord, I could be on the wrong track, taking you all on the wrong path. So Anika the Shield says, yes, The Temptations is excellent. So you were right, it was The Temptations, sis.
It's the like falsettos and stuff in there. It just makes me, and of course I sing along. I'm not like, you guys know I can sing, but matching them and then being the girl in the group.
Jackie's got a whole fantasy life that she would like to happen.
I perform, guys. Like, you guys don't know. You gotta come to a karaoke night when the world opens up.
Absolutely. I mean, we're getting there. So just to let the audience know, this is actually coming from the Rolling Stones. This is their 2019 list of top holiday albums that we're actually going to be sharing with you. So number 3 was the 25th Day of December by the Staple Singers. Jack, have you even heard this album before?
Not yet.
Okay, so it's on our list. It's on our Christmas bucket list, and I was really surprised.
Like, I don't even know who the Staple Singers are.
Don't say that. I don't know who. I don't know.
I probably do. I'll probably listen and be like, "Oh yeah, I've heard this."
Like the young folks see, like, I know this music. I know this song.
I just didn't know that was the name of the group.
Shoshana says the Whitney Christmas album is another one that she enjoys. Whitney, definitely, and I think so. I do feel like a lot of us focus on Mariah Carey when it comes to the Christmas holiday spirit, because I feel like that's just her brand. But Whitney did have a bomb holiday album, and that
movies. I love her Christmas movies.
Like, she definitely, I guess Whitney handled the movie side of things, and Mariah handled the music side of things when it came to like having an album, and Whitney would have these amazing movies. Because I feel like, to your point, like, I do remember seeing Whitney Houston in like a lot of holiday movies.
Yeah.
So coming back to the Pentatonics, they're an a cappella group. Like I knew it was something about them that was very different. Yes, I knew it was different. I just knew they weren't like the regular large group of people that do music. I knew
That's fun. I'm definitely
they're
gonna.
really good. They're like really dope.
I don't think
Like
I've experienced that. I'm gonna have to go in and have a list.
10 out of 10 recommend. And so coming back to the Rolling Stones, the number 2 album, that's a holiday album, is A Christmas Gift for You by Phil Spector. I don't know who this man is. Like, I'm not even in front. When I saw this, I was like, who's Phil Spector? Exactly. This is exactly how I felt. I was like, oh, okay.
The music industry has so many artists, and I've never. That's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. Like even the idea of holiday music, like we obviously have, our R&B Christmas music that we enjoy because that's a genre that we kind of gravitate to. But just to know that there's probably even more in the R&B Christmas space that we just are not exposed to me was actually pretty interesting. But before I can give you the number one, I do want to ask the audience and yourself, Jackie, to guess what you think the number one album, or at least who the artist is that has the top holiday album according to Rolling Stone. Put your thinking cap on.
Mariah Carey.
Okay, that's your answer. We're going to go with that. We're going to put a pin in that because I see this comment from Karen Simmons that I want to bring in. So she says, My Little Pony, Very Minty Christmas. Reason was when our daughter, who is now 20, at 4 years old, she played the CD and album for 6 days straight, and now we decorate the tree to this album. That's a beautiful.
That's actually what came
tradition
to mind. I'm like, I went and decorated my French tree with them, and we were trying to find music to go to, and I'm just like, what's the best albums that you can listen to? Obviously, we went with the Temptations.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what do you guys wrap your gifts to? Is it the same seed that you decorate the tree to?
Ooh, see, we're going to talk about that next week because, it's leading up to Christmas. So we're definitely going to ask about all the holiday traditions. So today we kind of wanted to just talk about the music. Last week we talked about the movies. So next week we're definitely going to be talking about all of your traditions. And so all of this will kind of come back into the fold. So it's kind of like warming you up and getting you guys to think about it because I do feel like sometimes it's so automatic. It's like a natural, pop the CD in, do this, do that. And we don't really think about it. So we're not as conscious when we're doing these things. So that's kind of what Jackie and I, that was my intention anyway. Hopefully it's working. So Jackie thinks the top holiday album is a Mariah Carey album. Audience, let us know in the comments because we're actually going to take a quick commercial break and then I'll let you know what the top holiday album is according to Rolling Stones from 2019. And then we'll go into our Focal Vibe of the day, which is also going to test your knowledge. Trivia time with Terry. So make sure you do not go anywhere. Jackie and I'll be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio. Home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. If you're just joining us today, we talked about the top holiday music classics. We talked about both songs and albums. And before we took a commercial break, Jody Virgil said this: the best holiday album for me is Jackson 5 Christmas. I bake cookies every year to this song. So it looks like we're going to find all of that if she gets a chance to let us know before we wrap up today's show. Otherwise, we're going to find out from her next week when we do all of our Christmas traditions because Jackie has a tradition that she's going to share with us. She kind of talked about it, but we actually have to dive into the whole experience of it because apparently it was a vibe. It looked like a vibe. And I found other people that are into this thing. So it's really dope. So all of your Christmas traditions, your holiday traditions, whatever holiday, you focus on and you celebrate, bring all of that to us next week because we're going to be diving into that whole conversation next week. But before we transition to our trivia time, Jack, unfortunately, you were not correct. The top holiday album was Ella Wishes You a Swinging Christmas by Ella Fitzgerald. I know who Ella Fitzgerald is. I've never heard this album, but I do know who she is, and I'm sorry, but Mariah Carey did not top the list.
Is she the? I feel bad. Is she the old lady that won American Idol?
Who? Ella Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
On that note, we're switching to trivia time with Terry because Jackie's over here doing really weird things. So, audience, if this is the first time you're joining us, all you have to do is try to beat Jackie and send us an email if you do beat Jackie in our trivia questions. I got 3 today. They are holiday related, so keep your holiday thinking caps on. Keep your mind in the theme of the holidays. The first one, Jackie, it's a comedy animation. And the question is, where does the train go in the Polar Express? Where is it headed? Go, girl, you got that. Use a little skirt in it. Use a little skirt.
No, because I've watched it. Remember you talked about it the other day.
Hey, yeah.
Where he loses his ticket. They have hot cocoa on the train. Yeah.
Look at you. You know that one. This next one is another comedy animation, apparently. In the film Scrooged, who plays the Scrooge-like character?
Which Scrooge? Because you got Jim Carrey's one.
It's not Jim Carrey.
Oh my God, I don't know.
You don't know. It was Bill Murray. The audience didn't know either. It was Bill Murray. You remember Bill Murray? Oh my gosh, it's fine. I'll fix you later. This next one, the last one, is a drama musical. And it reads the question. What 2 movies feature Bing Crosby singing White Christmas? You got to get one of these. What 2 movies feature Bing Crosby singing White Christmas? One is the name of a hotel. That's your hint. And the other one is actually the name of the song. That's like the biggest hint I just gave you, Jackie.
I'm still on the hotel one. Like, what?
You don't know? The audience don't know? I have stumped you guys today. I feel vindicated and successful in the fact that I stumped you all today on a question. And so, the answer.
Yeah, you did that on purpose.
I did. Kind of, sort of. Holiday Inn and White Christmas. Oh, Karen Simmons got it. White Christmas. I literally said the name of the movie is also the name of the song. And Sean Smith got it. Like, how did you miss
Holiday Inn? These are Holiday Inn's a movie?
Yes, it's a movie.
It's a Christmas movie?
Yes.
How did I not get the list of things that I was supposed to watch?
I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. On that note, Jackie and I hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching and engaging with this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for more Feel Good conversations. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.